Right, good afternoon and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan, the channel where we share all about your Thai girlfriend stories. And today we've got a guy who sent in a story where he's visited several Asian countries and wants to tell you about his mongering adventures. He has previously sent a story in and I will link it in the pinned comment below. So without further delay, grab a beer or stick the kettle on and let's jump into today's crazy Asian story. This is the story of my third trip out of the country in 2018. I sent a story to Thai Talk with Dan about my first international trip in 2014, which involved my buddy's marriage to a bar girl. It also involved my experiences meeting Thai girls, freelancers, and ladyboys online. I chuckled to myself when reading all the comments about my adventures. Pure entertainment. Now, this particular vacation was meant to be epic, so I took 2 months off work. You might be asking yourself, how do you take 2 months off? The answer is, I'm a full-time musician and I can block off any weeks or months on my calendar for vacation. Of course, I work my ass off for the rest of the year, taking as many gigs as I can, but I also find it very important to take time to travel every year since my first extravaganza in 2014, which was life-changing for me. Now, the first destination, Jakarta, Indonesia. Years ago, I met a girl named Kima on a dating app, kept in touch and decided to visit her during my Asian tour in 2018. However, months before I went to Jakarta, I met another girl on the same app who also lived there. Her name was Okti. Kima was super cool, around 25 years old, a beautiful dark-skinned Indonesian girl about 5'2" and weighing in at around 100 pounds, with gorgeous eyes, a stunning smile and a banging body. She met me at my Airbnb and took me around town to some bars to check out bands and have drinks. She also filled me in on local customs, religions, norms and more. She popped my top numerous times and was a sweet, kind woman and ambassador. Oh boy, was she a treat. Now I ended up adding 1 more day in Indonesia to sneak away and hang out with Okti before heading to Manila, Philippines, my next stop. Kima was supposed to take me to the airport, but I wanted to be honest with her and told her I was staying an extra day to meet another girl, which she didn't take well. And I felt like a jerk, but it is what it is. So I met up with Okti later that day. She picked me up in her car and we drove 2 hours out of town to Simori, a highland area in that part of the country. Okti was Indonesian, Muslim and wore a hijab. Once she took it off, it was clear she was gorgeous from head to toe, about 27 years old. We went to an amusement park and by the end of the day, I was exhausted and a little nauseous from the rides. Knowing we had a long drive back to the city, I suggested we get a room nearby to shower and rest before heading back to Jakarta. Now it was really hot and humid that time of the year, and being from Southern California, I wasn't used to that much heat and moisture in the air. We got a room and I immediately showered but didn't have any clean clothes to change into. Before she showered, Okti got on the phone and called for what I thought was room service. Next thing I knew, they showed up with a hijab and a prayer mat. She put it on, got down on her knees and prayed to Allah. I was thinking to myself, we're about to get down and dirty, right? It was a very surreal moment, but I was excited and ready for action. At this point, she had already told me she was married with 2 kids, but separated from her husband. I knew there was a chance I could get beheaded for being with a married woman in Indonesia, but I'm kind of in the you only live once school of thought. She took a shower and we did the dirty deed, which was amazing. Turns out I was only the second guy she'd ever been with. What an honour. Things were super tight too. Jiggity goo. Now the next day, I flew to Manila and met up with my Korean friend Paul, whom I knew from Southern California. Paul was a successful, handsome Korean guy with a likeable personality. He had been to Manila before, so he showed me the ropes and the sweet spots. The funniest highlight in Manila was our interesting trip to Burgos Street, where all the strip clubs are. Now, as I mentioned in my 2014 story, I'm not really into paying for aerobics or going to go-go clubs, but Paul was, so hey, when in Rome? We were on a mission to get some that night, so we went club hopping to check out the potentials. He picked a Filipino with bleach blonde hair and lots of tattoos, and I picked a Japanese girl who looked like the girl next door. We ended up back at our rented rooms in a high-rise in Makati. We drank, talked and laughed for a while, but the next thing I knew, the girl I picked was all over Paul, and his girl was all over me. Normally, that would be fine, but I'm not into blonde, tattooed girls, especially smokers like she was. Apparently, the girl I picked had a Korean boyfriend, so she had a thing for Korean guys, and Paul's girl was into white guys like me. Unfortunately, I wasn't into her, and eventually sent her on her way after suggesting she brush her teeth. Now the next day, I was a bit hungover and decided to stay in while Paul went out to meet friends in Manila. I got on the dating app and found a girl named Kate, who was actually a passable ladyboy. Passable, meaning they could pass as a female. You'd never know otherwise from looking or hearing them speak. Kate came straight to my room and we spent the night in bed. No money exchanged. That same night, Paul got home, saw Kate's high heels by the door and assumed I was getting some action, which I was. The next morning, Kate left, and when Paul and I woke up, we had a conversation. Paul gave me props for staying in and still getting laid while he ended up solo that night. He wanted to see what she looked like, so I showed him her profile pictures. He said she was the hottest chick I'd been talking to so far. Paul and I have different tastes, but he thought she was really hot. So I asked, "Do you think she's really hot?" He said, "Absolutely." And I laughed my ass off and told him she was a ladyboy. His expression was priceless. He said, "No freaking way." I said, "Yes, freaking way." Next stop, Saigon, Vietnam. Paul had been there before, so he knew his way around. We had lunch and went to a massage place where all the girls lined up for us to choose. I picked the cutest one, went up to the massage room, and the next thing I knew, she was asking if I wanted a little wrist action. Now I hadn't realised it was that kind of place until that moment. I laughed to myself and figured, well, I'm already here, so I might as well. It was about 1 million dong, roughly 40 bucks USD. It was good, and Paul and I left smiling ear to ear. The next day, I met a girl online named Rose. a beautiful 30-year-old Vietnamese woman with a slim body. We spent the next few days together before Paul and I headed to Thailand. Now, the day after meeting Rose, Paul went out to meet friends in Saigon, and I hung out with Rose. We had dinner and went back to the rooms Paul and I had rented together. The next morning, around 9:30 a.m, Paul came home after being out all night, banging on my bedroom door, saying, "You gotta help me. I screwed up and I need your help." So Rose and I quickly got dressed and listened to Paul's story. He had gone out with friends and invited the massage girl from the day before to join them. Long story short, he didn't intend to pay her for her time, thinking he was just inviting her out for fun. That caused a problem when she was supposed to leave his friend's high-rise apartment. His friend had already left earlier that morning, and for some odd reason, Paul decided to leave the girl there after refusing to pay her. So he asked me and Rose to come back to his friend's place to either talk to the girl or check if she trashed the place or stole something. When we arrived, it was clear they'd been partying hard all night. The place was messy with food, party favors, and alcohol everywhere. Now, since I'd never been there before, I couldn't tell if anything was missing. I told Paul he should have just paid her since she's got the money, and according to her, he knew where she worked, as in, "You know my job, so pay me for my time." Right as we were about to leave, I noticed a piece of paper under the TV with a note saying, "I took laptop until Paul pays me," along with her phone number. The laptop belonged to Paul's friend, so we had to get it back no matter what. So Rose called her number and agreed to pay the $300 she was asking for. The girl eventually called to say she was in the lobby and only wanted to see Rose, not Paul, because she was angry. Rose asked Paul for $100 and took it down to meet her. When Rose came back, she didn't have the laptop, but relayed the message from the massage girl. "It is behind the couch." Bravo to this crafty young massage girl. Sure enough, it was there the whole time. Rose did save the day though, and saved Paul $200 too. He took us out to a nice lunch after that fiasco. Next stop, Bangkok, Thailand. Now this was my second time in the land of smiles, and I was excited to meet up with my cousin Matt for his first Thailand experience. Paul was meeting me there too, and we all connected once we got settled. Now Matt was like a deer in the headlights, just as I was on my first trip. When we hit up Nana Plaza and Soy Cowboy, we picked up a couple of freelancers on a soy near Nana the next day, and they took us to some short-time rooms nearby. With the room, it was 1,200 baht, so wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So we explored the city, got 2-hour massages daily, and ate some of the spiciest noodle dishes ever. My cousin was shooting flames out of his back door for hours. It was like rectally exorcising demons in The Exorcist. The power of the spice expels you. The power of the spice expels you. After a few days, I decided we should take a trip to Pattaya. I knew the small city better and wanted to show Matt the best soapy place in town, called Honey's. We rented an Airbnb and scooters to cruise around and explore. We visited the Sanctuary of Truth, the Buddha on the hill, Honey's for a soapy massage, ate amazing Thai food, and picked up a few girls at a day bar by Beach Road for about 1,000 baht each. My cousin was in heaven, and I had an amazing time watching his head explode. He's a great travel companion, so we made the most of it. Now, one note about renting scooters. You'll need an international driver's permit, about $20 in your home country, or pay a $15 daily fine, as you'll likely get pulled over at checkpoints in Pattaya. So, it makes sense to get the IDP before coming to Thailand. Now, we also visited Walking Street, and I took Matt to the windmill down one of the alleys. As I said in my original story, I've seen some of the downright dirtiest stuff live at the windmill. It is a must-see. At one point, my cousin and I brought Paul and his Thai companion there, and they sat us in the back around a sunken round tub with two Thai beauties in it. Now, I can't fully describe what happened, but to sum it up, beer bottles the ladies were enjoying ended up where the sun doesn't shine, and then into my cousin's mouth. And it was in that order. Now, in all honesty, that was the funniest moment of the trip, and it is something that I will never forget. Do yourself a favour and visit the windmill. Once you're seated, flash a 100 baht bill and see what happens. Next stop, Tokyo, Japan. So, I said farewell to Paul and Matt and hopped on a plane. I was visiting a Japanese girl I met in Tokyo named Kaori, which I met on my second trip out of the US in 2017. There's not much to say about Japan other than it's super clean, the people are very nice, the food is amazing, and the few girls I met there in 2017 were all pretty easygoing, sweet and easy like Sunday morning. I would definitely suggest using dating apps in whatever countries you visit if you're interested in meeting locals for dates and more. Once again, Dan, thank you for all you do and how you do it. It's so entertaining to hear everyone's stories, adventures, failures and triumphs. Thanks for reading my super long ass story too. Peace. Right guys, let us know what you think about this story down below in the comments, but it gives you a bit of an idea of what you can get up to in several different Asian countries. Now guys, if you've got your own story that you want to share on the channel, then please get your email sent in to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com and I will share it on the channel. Thanks for watching guys, look after yourselves, always wear protection if you like this guy, and ciao for now. Bye bye.